Okay. So today I'll be talking about why motion matters in product design and why I believe motion matters in product design. So a quick intro, yeah, about myself, like right there. I'm Gabriela, but I prefer going by Gabby. I am Brazilian, but I am based in Germany right now. And I am a former animator and motion designer that switched to product design. And today I work as a design lead on LottieFiles. And I put there that I'm a tea drinker because I believe the world is divided into coffee drinkers and tea drinkers. And I'm always happy to find tea drinkers as well. I added, you can see like a tiny dog barking at the right bottom at my screen. Those are animations by myself that I added like throughout the presentation. It's like tiny Easter eggs. So stay tuned at the, the bottom right to see like some of my animations. So yeah, so I think like the first question some people might be asking already is why I switched from animation and motion design to product. So a little bit of my journey. So like back in Brazil, like a few years ago, I was working mostly with like entertainment and educational like industries. So I was doing animation mostly for that. But for some reason, I ended up in a tech company. So I started doing like marketing materials, so animations like for social media and things like that, things related to that. But it was the first time in my life that I got contact with a product design team, and I started like talking to UI UX designers, and this was not part of my life before that. And then I started wondering because in the marketing team we were doing like characters and mascots and things like that, and I started wondering how can we like connect everything together, and how can we bring this into the product as well, like everything that we bring to marketing, like how can we like connect everything together. And then I was like talking to the product designers and then developers as well, and everybody was like, no, this is not possible, like this is not something easy to do, you know. And then around the same time Lottie came out, and I started like experimenting with it. And I'm gonna do a quick break to talk about Lottie because I don't know if everyone is familiar with it. So Lottie animations are basically code rendered as an animation. So you have a code, but then you have like a player that renders it as a visual thing that you can see. So it's a JSON based. You can export it directly from After Effects. It's multi-platform, so you can use it across like iOS, Android, a web, React Native, and it keeps the vector quality, the things of your animation. The file size is super small, so it's really changed how we deal with motion in product. It made it possible for a lot of reasons. So I recommend to check out LottieFiles.com/whatislottie, because there we have like all the timeline, like when Lottie came out. A lot of people still have questions of like, why do you call Lottie if it's a JSON? Because the file that you get is a JSON file, and then we have everything explained there. Some people think that LottieFiles is from Airbnb as well, which is this is not correct because Airbnb actually created the players. This is getting confusing, so I think it's easier if we just like go to the website. We have everything explained to solve all those questions and confusions that can come up with Lottie. So going back to my journey, so at the same time, Lottie came out. So I started experimenting with it. So that made possible for me to put my animations inside the product, because I could just hand a code to a developer and they could implement it, and then you could see it was like magic. But I was still not satisfied because I didn't want animations to be just like a glitter at the end. I wanted it to belong to the environment. So I started like being nosy in the product teams because I wanted to understand like, oh, how do you draw like the journey? How do you draw like how is everything together? I want to see like your wireframes. I want to see, because I wanted to understand when and where specifically I could place an animation, and it would be like the perfect scenario for it to be. So it would not just be glitter; it would be part of the process. And yeah, so since I started like getting like too much in product design, I ended up switching because then I fell in love. And yeah, that's how I ended up in product design. Next question is, Gabby, what are you trying to say with all that? So what I'm trying to say is that motion should be part of your workflow. Uh, it it still like can be cool, you know, if you just throw an animation to make it pretty, but you can have like better results, and you can do wonders if it's well thought and well put in your design process. So since the beginning, you evaluate like all the possibilities and when would be the best time to introduce this in your workflow. So we've been talking like about motion and motion, but what exactly is motion applied to product design, right? So I have some examples here. We have gestures. So in this example, like the swipe up, and then like we use this so often in our daily lives that we don't stop to realize that this is all motion, like all the transitions that happens, like in your phone, like when you swipe, when you open something, when you contract something, everything has like an animation to it. And yeah, so this is the gestures. And then we also have icons, the famous menu that turns into an X. This is like a super nice interaction as well that everybody loves. So you have like icons animations that are also like well spread it across. And then we also have illustrated animations. So yeah, so still not sure. So you're still not convinced that putting motion in a workflow it's a good thing. So I brought some stuff as well to try to convince you with some principles. So it can help you give feedback. So in this example, you don't need to rely only on color and text. You could use motion like as a way to support the way you give feedback to your users. It shows hierarchy. I am so sorry about the low quality of this GIF, but yeah, I didn't have time to make like a better one. So like the hierarchy, it also shows like in this example, like that message opens up and then it comes back to the place where it belongs. So it shows like this is the highest thing, and this is a part of it that expands, but that it contracts back to where it belongs. It also adds character to your brand. This example, like I think it's self-explanatory. Like all the way it moves, it can tell something about your brand and how you style it. Like if you have a like a funny brand and a funny message that you want to bring, you can do like more a bit more like animations and funny ones that do like some bounces and do like some elastic effects. But then if you have like a very serious company and like a very, I don't know, sophisticated one, you can do like super like slow and like fades, like super refined stuff. So it really tells something about your brand as well. Storytelling. Uh, yeah, this is something super cool about it as well, which is you tell a story with your animations. So in this example, like you are guiding your user like through a story inside your product. So for example, you click on the succulent plants, and then it goes to your cart, and then you see what is going on, and you don't get lost in the timeline of what things are going on. So if you just click it and nothing happens, like, do you know if this works? Was it really added to my cart or not? So if you see it visually, it's telling you a story like, oh, this is going inside your cart, and now you can pay it if you want. And I think AR, VR, as Sarah mentioned in her in her presentation as well. Like everything that she showed would not be possible if it was not emotion and animation. So I think AR VR, just for itself, it's already like a reason for you to consider emotion, because this is what this is like the future, and this is what we are walking to. So for me, this is like very convincing. So yeah, answering the main question, like why motion matters in product design, because it feels natural and it feels human. Because we are on our daily basis, we are like interacting with machines all the time. We are using our phones. We are using, and there's so many things that are gonna like be introduced in the future that we still like don't know. And it's super important that it feels warmer. You know, we bring some of like the yeah, so some warm human interaction. So animation like helps you feel more comfortable using something, because it reminds you like of the real world and how real things react to you. So you expect like the things in your phones to react in the same way. So yeah. Another thing that I think it's super important to mention here is accessibility. I'm super happy that Sarah also mentioned that in her presentation, because I don't see many people talking about this. Um, yeah, so W3C has some guidelines on that. Exactly what it's exactly the same thing that Sarah showed in her presentation. Like some people have some kind of sensitiveness, so some people like can get motion sickness. Some people get like super bad reactions from something like super yeah, like super like strong lights and super fast transitions as well. So this is something that I think people need to talk more about, because I've been like in product design, I see a lot of people talking about it, but in motion, like it's yeah, I think it's growing now, but I didn't see many people discussing about it. One person also that it's a good reference on this. It's Val Head. I don't know if anyone knows her. I see her like on Twitter, and she writes some like good articles about like designing for like motion accessibility. So it's good to check her out as well. I can share her Twitter maybe on the chat after it. Okay, yes, I'm convinced, Gabby. I want to like do all animations inside my product, but how do I start? So my first tip would be look around you and like see how other companies are doing it, because like again, we are so used on using our stuff and not being aware of what is going on. So be really like pay attention to what those companies are doing and how they are putting motion in their workflow. So I think the ones that I put in here, for me, they are like a reference. I love the way they work with it. So Apple, Duolingo, Google, Netflix, Headspace, Uber, TransferWise, Grab, they're all amazing with the way they use motion in their products. So I'm probably missing a lot of other amazing companies, but those are the ones that came in my mind when I was doing the slides. So yeah, my first tip is pay attention to others and how they are doing it. My next my next tip is educate yourself. Material design is like amazing on explaining everything. All the examples that I showed in my presentation I got from material design, and it's super visual. Like they have lots of examples like do's and don'ts, and yeah, they explain pretty much everything from like all the principles to they also mention accessibility as well. And they also like show timing. They show like good timing, bad timing. They have like tons of examples. So of course there's other content out there, but I know it can be very overwhelming as well when you want to learn something new and you Google it and there's so many content and you don't know where to start. So my tip is start with material design on educating yourself. They are amazing. And yeah, it's yeah. My next one is LottieFiles, of course. Not only because I work for LottieFiles, but because you can't you can't talk about like motion in product without mentioning Lottie and LottieFiles. So at LottieFiles.com we have a lot of tools for you to create Lottie animations. So we have a plugin for After Effects that you can export your Lottie animations directly from there. You can preview inside After Effects to you can preview all your animations on the website to see if they are working. You can test them in your mobile as well with our mobile app. You just need to scan the QR code. We also have an amazing community that posts like free animations daily. So you have if you don't know how to animate and you just want to like get animations, there's tons of super cool animations. We have free ones. We have a marketplace with high quality animations as well that you can buy. All the animations, I don't know if anyone noticed the small animations by myself that I put in the corner. They're all available on marketplace as well. So if you want to buy them, they're available there. We are constantly introducing new stuff. So we recently released a preset thing as well. So you just upload your SVG, your static SVG there, and we have some presets that automatically animates your SVG. So you don't even have to open After Effects to do like some simple animations. So we are constantly like hearing the community and hearing from everybody on how to solve this, because we want to make motion design accessible for everyone. So we are trying to make this like as easy as possible for people to use. So yeah, again, not only because I work for LottieFiles, because I think it's a really like amazing community around it as well. And we also have a plugin for Figma. So if you are like doing your designs on Figma, you can install our plugin as well, and you can easily get an animation and put in your prototypes and test it from there. And yeah. Again, the last tip is like on because like LottieFiles, we cover most like the illustrated animations, but then like to do your prototypes and do all the transitions, here are some tools that I recommend as well. I'm probably missing some, but those are like the main ones. Sarah also shared some options, but yeah. And some are easier to use, some are more difficult, some are more, they have like a complex result as well. Like some allows you to do like you can control like all the curves and how the animation happens. Others are more limited and you will have like more rough transitions. But those are all worth trying out and see, like checking what results you're trying to achieve and what you get more comfortable using. I put After Effects there because I used to do prototypes in After Effects. I don't actually recommend it because it's a lot of work, but After Effects, you can control everything. So you will have like an amazing prototype, but sometimes it's not worth it because of the amount of work that it is to do like a prototype in After Effects. I think I finished my presentation way before, and we can maybe leave more time for Q&A, and so you can maybe like ask more questions. So this is my Twitter. If anyone wants to contact me there, so it's Gabby_Schmitz. I'm not the most active person on social media, but I am doing an effort, and I check my inbox and so you can like ask me questions on there. Here I just added like 1 minute ago, basically, the stickers, because you mentioned that you didn't have like samples of the stickers that we are giving away. So I added in my presentation. Those are the stickers that we are giving. So we're going to give them internationally as well. So you just need to apply, and then we are going to send them. They are super cute. They are super like high quality printed. So they're super nice. And thank you so much. And I think that's it. I think we have questions now. So yeah, I'm here. Stop sharing.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you
Sorry again
for
for
no
finishing my
worries. Thank you.
presentation.
So,
Yeah.
anyone have any question regarding LottieFile or to Gabby? So, if I'm going through the chat right now, there's one question that said that I think you mentioned about the community. So, someone said, which community is this, and how can I join? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So the community, you can just enter on LottieFiles.com. You can post your stuff freely there, and you can also apply for the marketplace, so you can sell your animations. You just need to go like through a form that you need to put up some info of yourself to sell the animations, of course. And then once you're approved, you can sell your stuff there, or you can just freely give your content. Like it's a pretty active community, so you see tons of content being posted daily. So it's really nice, and you see like people supporting each other and like commenting, and yeah. So it's just LottieFiles.com.
okay. There's one more question. Is LottieFiles plugin available in Vision Studio?
No, not yet. No. Yeah, we are constantly like expanding our plugins like availability. So today we have plugin for Figma, for After Effects. We are going to release one for Adobe Animate as well. And I think that's it. If anyone from LottieFiles is on this meeting as well, please post on the chat if I'm forgetting something.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
And
but I'm sorry, we don't have for InVision Studio. Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay, got it. And one more question. In terms of measuring the impact of motion graphic, what is your approach to test it, and what is the success metric?
Let me think. You mean to test if it's like if it's a good impact or not?
Yep.
Because yeah, I think mostly I didn't bring any numbers in the presentation. I'm sorry for that, but I think you can test it with users and like A/B testing and seeing which ones have more like results and more engaging. But from my personal experience, usually people like more things that are animated. Like everybody loves to see like an animation going on. So yeah, from my previous experience, I can tell that usually people prefer that.
Yeah.
But it's always good to do like some testing as well with your
Yeah.
users. I hope this answers the
I
question.
think also it depends on the situation. Also, like we see Sarah, what she's presenting on the AR itself, there's a little bit animation. I guess a little bit animation managed to capture user attention and probably also increase
Absolutely,
retention as well,
absolutely.
having the user to stay in the app and all. Okay, nice. So do you have any more questions before we end the session? Out of Figma and
I think
Adobe XD,
yeah,
which
I'm
software do
checking
you
this one.
suggest for motion design?
This one is hard because I am absolutely in love with After Effects, but I know it's such a hard tool. I know that it's not easy to use, and it takes some time to learn it. But yeah, in my experience, I think it's worth it to take some time to learn it, because After Effects allows you like so much.
Mhm.
It's, yeah, but you can also use like Adobe Animate to do some animations as well. That might be, I think Animate will be a bit less complex than After Effects, because After
Mhm.
Effects does not only motion design, but it's a really broad
Okay.
software. So, but I would say that it's worth it to learn and do. We have some tutorials and some courses on LottieFiles as
Mhm.
well on how to create Lottie animations specifically, because when you say like animations and Lottie animations, like Lottie animations can be a bit more limiting, so you can't use all the effects that After Effects allows you. So we also have some tutorials and courses there to create animations for Lottie. So you can also check that. Then I think After Effects is worth it.
Okay. I think there's one more question probably from myself regarding animation, because I think most of the people in the attendance are probably UI UX designer, and we don't usually deal with animation on a day-to-day basis, mostly like buttons and all. How do we want to convince our stakeholder to embrace or put some effort in investing in getting animators on the team to probably include some animation in the team? What is a good point, and how do we want to convince our stakeholders?
That's a hard one because
Because
I know it's hard to do that. It's hard to
yeah,
convince the
because it
stakeholders.
takes time to create all those kind of animation as well, right?
Yeah, I would go with like showing big companies that are doing it, and maybe like researching on their content, and they look out for they explaining how this brings a value for them. Like the even the companies that I showed in my presentation, like that they do like an amazing work, and I am pretty sure that they have like motion designers working closely with the product team. So I would reach for content that they post on how this brings values from for them, and maybe try to apply this in your own reality and do like a plan to show. So see like how these big companies are doing it, and maybe if we do the same, we can and apply this in our context and our reality. Maybe we can, and then you can create some metrics like, oh, let's try and see if this achieves what we are expecting, and maybe we can like start slowly, and then we can like slowly convince them.
Okay, sure. I
Yeah,
think we have
I think that would be
one.
my approach if I was trying to do it.
Yeah, because if I also find it that it takes a little bit more effort to convince stakeholders, but it does take time and everything. But I totally
Yeah,
understand that definitely we have to show what other successful company are using motion and how they can achieve success from it. I think there's
yeah.
one last question that accidentally slipped in.
Hmm.
Do you think a web app can use all their animation with Lottie if we want, or some we shouldn't use Lottie files?
I don't think I got the question. I'm sorry. Do you think a web app can use other animations with Lottie if we want? What do you mean by some shouldn't use? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I think maybe she meant like, does everything need to be animated, or how do we effectively decide what kind of things do we need to animate or not? Do we have like a balance to choose to have things animated or not?
Yes. Okay, yeah. So, absolutely, if you animate everything, you're gonna overwhelm your users. I think Sarah also mentioned how you can overwhelm people with those tools. So it needs to be well done and well thought. You need to think like what is the focus, what is the main thing that we are trying to achieve with animations. So I think you need to think that in your company and like in your reality, and see how it applies to you, and each screen individually, like if you're adding an animation in a individual screen, really like stop to think like what we are trying to achieve. Like, is this like to enlight and I don't know, just make the user happy, maybe because maybe this is a stressful flow that the user is going, and you need some like stress relief, so maybe do like a cute thing showing up. That can be a reason as well. And I don't know, any more like situations, or is it like to guide you through something, like to educate you something that you need to learn through the journey as well with your screens. So I think you need to really stop and think, like, what are you trying to achieve, and how you can bring motion to support you on that and make you get where you were trying to do. I hope this answers.
Yeah, okay, nice. So to anyone that's in the chat that is currently doing animation, if you are interested in exploring LottieFile and how do you want to get your animation into product, you can visit LottieFiles.com. Or is there a section, a page where we have tutorials for new people who's joining LottieFiles?
A section for people who just joined?
Yep, a tutorial or how to get started.
Yes, I can share the link. Just let me get it. We do have to, just a second. I'm sorry, I'm getting the link now.
Yep.
We do have a course, an introduction course on how to start it. I'm going to share the link here. I just shared the link on the chat, if anyone.
All right.
Yeah, if anyone wants to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabby, for being with us. And
it's a pleasure.
Feel free to visit their website and get more stuff from them as well.
Yeah, okay. and if anyone has more questions, you can reach me on Twitter, and I can answer them there as well.